Hello? Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, Chuempala. Good evening, Zambia. Good evening, Central Africa. Good evening, Southern Africa. Good evening, Africa. Good evening, Europe. And good afternoon on Mountain Time and several other times that are still in the afternoon. As for Australia, it's morning because Australia is so far ahead of us. Japan, it could be the next day. But anyway, I'm going to give you a few minutes to spread the word around and let everybody know that TV Bakwetu is on. My name is Elias Munsha, and I'm coming to you live from Calgary, Alberta, from TV Bakwetu in Canada. Today, we have very exciting things that we must talk about. Some of the things that we started yesterday. The reason why we must stay on topic is because we need to attack these issues and explain to our people exactly how things are going so that our people know. That is our duty, really. We don't have any other duty apart from to explain to our people what is going on. All right. So please spread the word around, and then I've also provided the link so that you can follow. The other thing is, some are asking to say, how does this thing work? The stars thing. Well, the stars thing is very easy and very simple. So what you do is, when you go to your profile and you see our live channel, you click as if you are either liking or commenting or loving it, and then there is a button there that says give stars or something like that. Then you press the stars, and then you're going to purchase stars from Facebook and then give us the stars. So it's money. It's not like but I do understand that each account, Facebook has given them free stars. I don't know how many there are. Is it 75 stars or 100 stars or something like that? So you've all been given free stars. And so what is the best way to spend those free stars apart from sending them to TV Bakwetu? So please do that. And the other thing is, you can also become a monthly subscriber to our channel. You see, every month, monthly subscriber, that would be wonderful. So think about that as well. Okay. All right. Now, let's go to where this thing started first of all. Okay. I'm going to give you an idea here. One of the criticisms that I receive personally, as well as General Chipakupaku, who is going to join us this week as soon as he returns from family commitments. One of the criticisms that we get that get leveled at us is, why are you not objective? Criticism number one. The second one is, why are you biased against the ruling party? And specifically, why are you biased against President Lungu? And so these are kind of difficulties that we face. And these are the questions that we get asked. Today, before we go into the substantive topics, I want to address the reason why we do what we do. Okay. The political establishment in our country, in this case, I mean the president and the ruling party, have a whole host of people who help them. Okay, so when the president is coming up with policy, he has advisors. Vampandamano, several advisors. He has a staff at State House. He has advisors that he can call on anytime. He has 210,000 civil servants who implement his policies. He has Patriotic Front cadres whose job is to spread propaganda about his policies. He has ZNBC, and ZNBC is already biased because ZNBC is supposed to give the opinion of the ruling party. He has 3 television stations. he has several radio stations, and then he also has the influence to even buy off the smaller media in Zambia. And so, given the imbalance, right? Given the imbalance of power, it only becomes necessary that for our democracy to be viable, that we have critical voices whose stand is critical. And it is when you balance these critical voices as well as establishment voices that you can get to the truth. That is our role. And we have no apologies to make. If you turn us into a ruling party Nshima Twekas, you are going to destroy the viability of our democracy. You see? You're going to destroy the viability of our democracy. And that's why what we need to do is to continue providing checks and balances so that our democracy continues to be viable. Otherwise, we are all going to turn into ruling party surrogates, and tomorrow there will be no democracy. So we have no apologies to make. We take the critical stand that we take because our country matters, our democracy matters, our nation matters, and each and every Zambian matters. And so in this little way, we are not claiming that we have a very huge voice, but this little voice that we have, this little mic that we have, this little light of ours, we're going to let it shine. We're going to let it shine, let it shine, and let it shine. Let it shine for the viability of our country. Why should we do it? It is because our country matters. Why do I have to spend hours and hours instead of making money? Instead of making money, why do I have to spend hours and hours on TV Bakwet, on this Facebook page? It is because our country matters. And providing this voice matters. That's why this is serious. To me, it is personal. I do what I do because I believe that there is still something good that is going to come out of our country. I believe in the people of Zambia. I believe in the people of Chiwempala. I believe in the people of Chimwemwe. I believe in the people of Chawama. I believe in the people of Chipata. I believe that together we can forge a better democracy. What we do is not going to change it because Baisa a new government. You know? Because some of you think that no, we are not going to relent in the duties that we have. We are going to continue. Because holding power accountable is a democratic responsibility of none other than the citizens themselves. That's why we do what we do. Okay, now that is clear. So let's get that out of the way. And so if you are coming here and telling me no, be objective, the answer is no, okay? We are not objective. Okay, so I'm not objective. I'm not here to be objective. I'm here to give my opinion about things that are happening. All right? That's why we are here. You see, we started with the debt swap, okay? So there is this idea of the debt swap. Now, when we have our opinions about the debt swap, sometimes we need to frame issues, right? The reason is we sometimes get very short-sighted, and so we don't see an entire picture. My broadcasts sometimes are longer because I want to paint a picture. Because when I paint that picture, then you'll be able to tell why certain policies are a problem. Now, today, we got a statement from the President of our Republic, His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, in which he's claiming that this idea of a debt swap is now going to extend to the private sector. Okay? Now, it is not me. You see, please give me a break. This is not me making up these things. This came not from my mouth. It came from the mouth of His Excellency the President. who is now saying that the concept of a debt swap, he likes it so much that it is now going to extend to the private sector. Now, this is a president who has access to advisors, who has access to cadres, who has access to the latest information, who has access to common sense, who has access to information, who has access to data, who has access to so many things, who is claiming that government is now going to be involved in the debt swap of private citizens. It is not enough that what they've started with civil servants, first of all, is confusing. There is no rational sense in what they are claiming they are going to do. But he says that he's going to extend this debt swap to the private sector, right? And so when we come up with these questions, it is not because we just don't like this president. This president definitely comes up with very, very funny ideas, like this idea of a debt swap, first of all. And then he moves on to say that he's actually going to do it for the private sector as well. Why is this concept completely wrong? Reason number one, this government says that it owes civil servants. Now, even if you're simple, ine na kulide kuchwempala. And as a person who grew up in Chwempala, if you have a simple, do not complicate if she complicated. When you begin complicating if she complicated, Kelenka, that's what I say, right? If you as a government, you owe civil servants money, what is the solution? Pay them their money, right? Okay. Even if we could, an independent observer, but government owes civil servants 1 billion kwacha. What should government do? Simple. Government should take the money and pay civil servants their due. Civil servants right now sacrifice a lot for our country. We've got teachers, we've got soldiers, we've got policemen, we've got messengers, we've got several people, cleaners, we've got clinicians, we've got doctors and nurses and medical biologists. Is it medical biologists? Lab workers. And this government has owed these people settling allowances, change of job allowances, arrears, moving allowances, risk allowances, rural hardship allowances. All these allowances, this government is owing civil servants. It's not very complicated. If you owe civil servants money, just pay them. That is what we are advocating. You see, paying civil servants what you owe them is extremely straightforward, because all you have to do is to go and quote, you owe this so-and-so hardship allowance. You code it in your payroll system, and tomorrow they have money in their bank accounts. Simple. Right? So what are we saying? What we are saying about the 210 civil servants in our country is this government should pay civil servants. Anything else, wufi ni Kelenka, kuiba ni bwalala. That's what it is. Wungo. Bantu, that you owe people money. Imagine. Somebody owes you money. Eronumbasa kuletela complicated mathematics about your money. Iyobane. Mbale. Ayin. Before tatula yoko konseko complicated of debt swap or anything like that. Mbale. Pay them their due. So number. Imweba lungu. Na tumfuati mulibakali sana. Nakasaka kandala mepokani. Kanshimailo. Pay the civil servants their money. When you pay civil servants their money, then it is easy for us to now refrain. Pakowa tutumfwe, wino, program mkwede. Pante mwambe kukula panga ama program, pandala mashabene. Mwamona? The complication here is the government is beginning to make plans and programs. Pandala mashabene. Iyo, mbale badi pire nindala mashabu ama civil servants. Ngamwaba di pire mpia shabo. Mwaba fuit, kwat kufuita, muva fuitire, muva dipire. Ayin. After you do that, then let's come back and talk. Now, icho tabale elandila ama civil servants, nicho obubuteko bw'abalungu bwali bwataka musango. Come on. Limbidi tubiri. Agaka musango baketa ati retirement in national interest. Agaka musango kakobate civil servant ngai minina alande po obubuteko bulatamfya ama civil servants. Kanshi Tetibalande, they can't go to any radio, they can't go to any television, they can't go anywhere. Echo inekanshi pamo nga TV bakwetu nde balandira kwa ma civil servants. Pantu ubuteko na mu union mwine bwalingira. What's the corrupt ama union leaders? So number, who is going to speak for the civil servants mwelo? If wenga tuwaekara tondolo tuikare shiriri ati yo mgwa ichirifie, what is going to happen to these civil servants? Mwanakonka nyapo kubanyantidira nokubabepo ufia about that swap. So okupishafyo yumulandu pali kandolo. It is simple. Pay civil servants their due. Abakobat mwalino kuba promoter because sometimes most civil service promotion ila bako automatic. So bonza abakobat ba disambirira ko shani pay them. Tuishibe. So and in fact the election is next month. So to FYI, by the end of this month, you pay civil servants their due. What you owe them, pay them. Epela. Ididia shituli putule pakati. Ain. No to kuchita complicate. Iyo tupishe po fipali kandolo pali ididiashi. And we forget about it and we retire this story in national interest. That's it. Okay. That's what we are saying. Ain. So imumweba civil servants, you are our friends. Inebatata. Ain abakumfiala. Niba teacher, bari niba teacher. So I know exactly the struggles of civil servants. Bari niba teacher during the Kaunda regime. Teacher. Teaching French and English na civics. But quite broke all the time. So I do understand the kind of struggles that civil servants face. Some civil servants are my relatives. So we do understand low salaries, inconsistent dates of payment. Elo number, in addition to that, you as a government, you decide to withhold their arrears. Elo chidiabalanda tareni pere na arrears atitatuami pere, we are going to come up with this complicated debt swap. Aleniva nilondolo ni duet swap. Atata naifuta tuishi vekanshi. We are going to put 3 months pakoba nomba tuka lubulule buino. Elo nomba tuka solve. That is a problem. Okay, so pay the civil servants their money. When you pay civil servants their money, it is fair because then you are applying the same rules to all the 210,000 civil servants. There will be no bias. There will be no allegations here that you are just siding with teachers because I'm a teachers and my electoral officers. There will be no accusations like that. Because kaingeba teacher, very easy. Because teachers are all over the country. Teachers have the knowledge, and teachers are very respectful of order, just like Kapokola. But so that's what happens. So now, in order to acquit yourselves as a government from trying to corrupt teachers, pay all civil servants what you owe them. Okay, now. You can't do that because, in actual fact, the government of President Lungu is broke. They have no money. The reason why they are saying debt swap is because this government is extremely broke. In other words, the debt swap is not something that is being used to impress the civil service. It is a ploy to deceive the civil servants. Because if this government had the money, it would have long paid arrears to these civil servants. It doesn't have the money. Impia Shonse, Vadiva. Impia Shonse, Vairechta spend on 42 fire trucks for 42 million. Varia Shtomu Tuabola, Nama Kondo Maya Dulika, Umpia Shachalo. That's what they did with that money. Ambulances at inflated prices. That's what they did with that money. That's what they did with that money. And so they are broke. And because they are broke, nomba, kuisa kuli mwema civil servants, elo bafwayo kumubepa bamubomfye. That's what it is. Because if you have money and you are owing people, talinga walidipira, icho mulefu wa iroku ya mukubomfye some complicated things. Nicho tamukwete olupia. One. Secondly, mwalifulo obufi. So nomba ine lesa ali nkusha kuchwempala. Ero ampera kusambitira ko panono. Ero sampera kona ka critical attitude. Na samona in the things if you mulelanda. Na sanga mo obufi. Nomba mbafisa bena chwempala obufi ubo mulebepa. Mi support at yo mkwai we need to be objective. Objective kwisa. Tell if you had 400 million or 1 billion, telling an ambali piragala massive servants. Kachinshi chashupa. Ukuri pira bantu aba bombere mpia shabo. Kange na mkwata. Tell kuba di pira fechapo mwe. Omulandu mwa upisha pali kandolo. No mulandu wapwa. Na akashimi kapela. No mbatakale pela. Mulandu wako watu muleve pa bantu. Okay. We move on. That is what they are saying. Okay, but number, because the government is a government of liars. Obubu teko mwebu babu fi. Kanshi tulande shani. Mwebu kanshi tamubu mwene. Obu fi bulenu nkano kununga. Kanshi nangule ipitira veweka. Kutu wanunsha webero obubu fi mwebu. Taula umfono kumfwa wa ununsha ati obubu fi. Ebevi. Wufi. So number, because they have lied all this, they are saying that they are going to then do what? They are going to stop debt repayment, interest repayment. Elo balandati na deadline naba pango kubati this month end. Imwe bonse bakafundisha, particularly remember they are targeting bakafundisha, pandu bakafundisha eba kabama electoral officers pa 12, right? That is the main target market. It just 60,000 people. Aba Kongola sana using what? Using Bayport and other microfinance lending institutions. But yeah, everybody is the target for this July. Pakwebati, if they have to do Imingalato now, let me tell you, there is no Imingalato that is going to save President Lungu on the 12th. No mabalesha, bantu kweno muntu nangu chabasha, barifo kwesha esha. So, but if we could target such that they do something illegal in July, on the July payment. Why am I saying that it is illegal? So they want to do an illegal thing in July, on the July pay, claiming that they have stopped the repayment to micro lending institutions such as Bayport. Even if they cause civil servants to default, they don't care. As long as on this pay period, there is going to be given an impression, kwana kalimo, bajta stop ama repayments. But in actual fact, it is an illegal thing that the government wants to do. Okay, why are we calling it illegal? We are calling it illegal, first of all, it's because the government of the Republic of Zambia is not a party to the contract between Bayport and Teacher Mulenga at Lusaka Mulenga's primary school. The government of the Republic of Zambia is not a party. The only role that the government plays in the contractual debt between Mulenga and Bayport is that government is just a pay point. Meaning, government's duty is to just get the money from Mulenga and remit it to Bayport. Government is not a party to the contract. Government cannot guarantee that contract. Government is not an undersigner of that contract. In other words, the parties to this contract are Mulenga and Bayport. So now, the government is claiming that it has signed agreements with unions. Remember, a contract in debt is a personal contract That's why they call it. It's a personal debt. Quite all right, you can say that these microfinance lending institutions, they targeted the government, right? They targeted government workers, and they used preferential rates for a group. Nevertheless, when you are going to sign that contract, it is still a personal debt. This personal debt is individual, and it must be proven individually. So Bayport's contract is with this individual teacher, this individual Mr. Kelenka, this individual Mr. Msonda, this individual Mr. Chalwe, this individual Mr. Ngosa, this individual Mr. Chibale, Mr. Kunda. With this individual Mr. Munsha. That is what the contract they signed. In that contract, it provides how much they've lent you, how much is the interest, and for how long you'll be paying back, and how you'll be paying back. Okay? It is for 20 years or 10 years. You'll be paying back 500 kwacha per month, and it will be deducted through your salary, because this microfinance institution has signed a contract with the government so that they can deduct that money from you. That is your individual contract. Even when Bayport sues, this Bayport will sue you in your individual capacity, and a judge will look at the contract to say, Mwali sign up individually. Now, the government is lying to the people of Zambia that suddenly it has become party to that debt arrangement. That is a lie. Now, imamwema lawyers, inenebo lawyer kunokuba sungu. And in Zambia, mwalikwata lawyers, Zambian lawyers, members of the Zambian bar. Muye mube pushe. If Bayport wants to sue a particular civil servant, what will they do? They'll go to the contract that was signed. And under that contract, there is no name of the government. The government, no one in the government guaranteed that loan. Both the amount of the money that you've borrowed is contractual. The time in which you're going to pay back is contractual as well. In Kongole, through Bayport, ngawalipila bwangu kulaba a penalty that it attracts. Everywhere. Na kuno kuinenga na Kongola. Ine na Kongola kuno. Mama. So ngawa Kongola na kuno kuine elo walanda tuwaya mukulipira. Inganda washite inganda ya $400,000. Elo mairo walanda tuwaya mukulipira. They'll give you a penalty. That penalty is contractual. What GRZ is suggesting, fiabu fee. If you're Kobati, they'll just go and pay off these microfinance institutions. So the government is lying. If it moves to withhold monies that are supposed to be paid to Bayport, they'll be doing it illegally. But they don't care, because it is a government that doesn't care. This government has failed to pay in Kongola Shusha to the Chinese. So they really don't care if they don't pay Bayport. Who is Bayport to them? If they failed to pay China, why should they pay Bayport? Therefore, why should they pay Bayport? They wouldn't. In other words, now they are spreading their defaults from the outside people to the inside people. And so now, when you as a government, you intervene at that point, you are going to distort the fiscal structure of your own country. The reason is Bayport is part of the puzzle of the economy. And so is the Stanbic, and so is the Standard Bank, and so is ABSA, and so are the other banks. If government intervenes to stop for 3 months, the collection of debt, you are negatively impacting banks' bottom line. Right? Go and ask the banks. In Mwemwebe na Lusaka, very simple. Just walk up to Cairo Road, nanguva mizinga melu, na mireta mwa melu, munjerereko. But you are the ABSA banker, twaishiva. So, find her while she's shopping in ShopRite, nangu kwisa wa shopping awa melu. Elo mukabe pishati, ma tuwebe niko tulondoro ele niko bushe. Can this bank function for 3 months without collecting money being held up somewhere. But it can't. Because then it distorts the assets. Bantu inkongolesha kwa Mulenga. He's a liability as far as Mulenga is concerned. But it's an asset as far as the bank is concerned. No kupenda ma banks yanapenda to na tukwata rupia. Rulio Mulenga kwete rupia. It's an asset to us. So this government is there is no way they can hold banks from collecting interest for 3 months. Bofi. So it will distort Zambian economy, it will distort banks, and it will distort everything. So when I say these are liars, this is what I mean. But you listen to what I'm telling you and listen to what they are saying and compare the two. You listen to what the banks are saying and compare the two. Maybe Bayport right now is being hamstrung because Nawaba Bayport took advantage. Ala Bayport took advantage, baby, number chao penaga, and they went for the overkill. So number the big banks might survive because they can receive some financing from the money market somewhere, but Kongola from somewhere else. So Kutiba survive. But for little microfinance lenders, Bayport or anything like that, they are going to be eliminated. They'll be dead as a result of all these policies where the government announces things without thinking through them. All right? Okay. So now, that is the 60,000 people and the implications of that. So is it likely that they are going to default this month? Yes, because this government is a government of defaults, and it's going to default. And once it defaults, it's going to run the economy into serious problems, but it doesn't care because they are hoping that they are going to win elections. That's all this is all about. It is not about the civil servants. So Imamwema civil servants, think about this. It's not about you. If it were about you, this government would have long paid you your dues. It would have hired extra people that you need to help you run your hospitals, run your schools, run your several government institutions. It would have long done that. It didn't do it because this is a government of Kelenkas. It's simple and straightforward. Okay. Now, President Lungu today claimed that the same concept of the debt swap is now going to be applied to the private sector. Again, he can't do that. The president is not a liar. When you say the president is a liar, you can be jailed for it, right? But you can say that the president is saying lies. If you're saying a liar ni noun, what's the describe umuntu? Atubu finiwe. Ichalo lota ifwa ya filia because ilefwa etikateka kumuchindika nangwalela ndefi yabufi kula ndefi ati ifyo mulela ndafi yabufi, but you don't say that he's a liar. So President Lungu is not a liar. No ndefyo barela ndafi yabufi. Mwamona? So how does it do the debt swap for the private sector? Okay, let's deal with that now. So he's saying he will do that for the government workers, and then he also do it for the private sector. Under what law? There is no law that permits him to do that. How is he going to intervene with private lenders that went to Bayport and do the debt swap? Let's throw that thing away. What he's saying by doing the debt swap essentially is that government is going to buy debt, right? And then refinance it. Where is he going to get the money to refinance Zambian debt? Civil servants right now, some suggestions are 6 billion kwacha, civil servants. So if I were to estimate that a similar thing in the private sector, another 6 billion. So 12 billion kwacha, right? 12 billion kwacha is what? How many 12 billion kwacha? Maybe another $2 billion dollars. Where is he going to get the extra $2 billion in order to recapitalize all these debts, to buy these debts? This is why I'm saying that what the president is saying is a lie. Fiabufi. I want you to let that sink in. Number, you expect to cover it. We shouldn't be talking about it. So that we take a posture of support like ZNBC. No. This country will be destroyed if everything that the president says is received no kutota sana. Where is he going to get the money to do the debt swap for the private sector, let alone the civil servants? Now, they are saying that they have started a bank. Mwebo, the government of the Republic of Zambia has been running banks since 1964. Zanaco, Development Bank of Zambia, and the Kariakambika Bank, Lima Bank, Nika Lima Bank, Nikashan Bank. Is it Lima Bank? Kariakambi, Akabulimi, what do you call it? Mwalanjeba. Nika Lima Bank. So the government has been running all these banks. And today, it is government policy to start a microfinancing institution, which is going to buy all these debts and increase the debt liability of the government. Mwewo balungu inkongole mkwete 20 billion mwalifiro kulipira interest mulefu okubika po na imbi 2 billion from private hands. And you are doing this while you are negotiating with the International Monetary Fund so that vampereko kanono to cushion you a little bit. And then you are speaking things like this. Because IMF is listening, World Bank is listening, China is listening. Unless if mulea kumbali, after muabepa abantu, elo mwaya kumbali muabeba ma Chinese atao muisakamana tuleba bepa fie. Unless you are doing that. But if you're not doing that, China is listening. Nama computer mu China ya lingira mokale. So ile mwana gwino ifire chitika. Now, ngamulebe pa abantu sure, twikale fiat yo mgwai konkani enipo no obufi. Mwafiru okulipira 2 billion in Congole from 20 billion. Interest mwafiru okulipira. We are right now defaulting as a country. Elo nomba mwamba okubepa abantu ama civil servants abekala chalo ukweba nenkongole shabona shoshine mwarashi chita absorb tali bufyu. Okay, mweba kweta olupia. If the issue is COVID, how are the countries handling the COVID situation? They are giving money directly to the people. They're not using all these very complicated concepts. Barepelo olupia abantu. Gana mkwate mpyesha kupera abantu over COVID. Tali bapere nfe straight directly. Kulanda fiati each NRC, we are going to give each NRC 1,000 kwacha. That's it. People line up, NRC mwa checking amwaba pela 1,000. That is a direct way of dealing with the COVID situation. Konokuba Sungu, that's what they are doing. Ko America, that's what they are doing. South Africa, that's what they are doing. Number, that this is a COVID situation, but you're not giving people money. Because one, you are broke. Secondly, you are liars. Okay. The other thing is the COVID money was, this debt swap is a COVID way of helping. That is not true. It is a lie. Because civil servants continued receiving, they continued receiving that money during the COVID crisis. Because much close court centers, messengers, they will not receive their salaries. They were receiving their salaries. If you meant to help the nation through COVID, you were going to be paying the small business owners that closed during COVID. So the argument that this is all about COVID is nonsense, woofy. Now, when you lie to the people like this, you want us as a people to agree at a konkani nipo obufi. Filife simple mweba home. Ngana mkwate olupia. Lipire nama civil servants. Tu ngana mkwate mpia sha COVID. Bete nifie. Ama NRC is a proof of payment. Bampera NRC mwapera kwa kanono so that they survive this COVID crisis. If you semulela and that you nam kwata ko utumingala to tumoto mwara chita play is a lie. You are broke. Impia mwalidipira ama fire tenders. Impia mwaliiba through ambulances. Impia mwaliiba through the Ministry of Health. Even if you have shinka, the reason why we are in this mess, it has nothing to do with COVID. It has nothing to do with everything. You've completely mismanaged our country and adding insult to injury. If you are insult to injury, you continue to do it even today by lying to the people about the debt swap. Unacceptable. Munjebe limbimwe filifye bwino. I find it completely unacceptable. Efyo ndelandira. That you civil servants are happy. Of course. Gamwatsa could default panono for July. They can be happy, but the thing is the fundamentals still remain the same. You are committing yourselves to lies. If we are supporting civil servants, very pireni what you owe them. Alabwafia, obuteko, obubwafia. Now, mwamona fiance fifia fauka. At it's COVID, imitengo ni COVID. Bajishimba kambwiri. Before COVID. Iliyo bafu minemu patriotic front. Bali tuwevo kwebati. The reason why prices are escalating is because this government has failed. Lelo bachinjati ni COVID. Mwamona ubufi. Lelo babepesha COVID. COVID, it's true. Yeah, it's going to devastate certain situations. But much of the problems we are experiencing today in Zambia has been as a result of pre-COVID lack of common sense. That's it. How did we accumulate $20 billion in debt as a country? How did we make teachers, AMA teachers, and other civil servants to be so indebted? European countries are indebted, even here, but they have the cash flow to sustain the debt. We don't have that in Zambia. Low salaries mean that there is very little cash flow to service those debts. But you led civil servants into debts because you lied to them. They made them projections, they've not been fulfilled. AMA increase in salaries, they're supposed at least to keep up with the rate of inflation. It hasn't. The interest rates are high, but AMA salaries are not keeping up with the rate of inflation. So even just the common sense inflationary equalization is not happening. So you lead the civil servants into debt and more debt. What were they borrowing for? Quite all right, you can say they were borrowing for cars. But some of them were borrowing just to eat and to send their children to school. That's why they were borrowing that money. So without you dealing with those fundamentals and common sense solutions, you want to say and lie to them that this debt swap is a solution to their problems. The solution to their problems is very good salaries, first of all. Secondly, pay them their dues. Thirdly, raise the salaries according to the rate of inflation. So that each time there is inflation, at least AMA teachers, they're not going to fall back on how much they are earning. This thing of now, mule tupanga bize, nefi yabu fi, na ifo tusumine, we say no to that. At least if we wena chuempala, we say no. So, nomba bakambwiri, barebe pesha COVID, ofi. South Africa kuli COVID, but their government paid people waisa fena rage bakulipira kwakanono to survive COVID. Number this government badidia impia jonze badidia shadipwa mwebo shadipwa inkongole eti balipire nomba kwambo kubepa abantu. If you came out in the open and told the people the truth, na inenga ndibize kunondechita fefyo ndechita, it wouldn't have been a problem. No, mumlando wako mulebe pa bantu. Echo na ina ishira njebere kwi. Mukonka niepo ufi, mona ule chalo. Chalo chesu bonse. So kanshi, ilota mula chona ula lekeni tulandepo. Anyway. That's it on COVID. Now, tribalism. You see, tribalism is that what has happened right now, because Shimba Kambwili and GBM, right? And all the Bemba tribalists, they have managed to move the conversation to tribe. Some of you say that no, Munshani Webo Ureranda. It's ECZ, the Electoral Commission of Zambia, eba chitire suspend Kambwiri because of tribalism. Teine. Mama, mulambepe shati Munshani niwe. Teine. ECZ, eba chitire suspend Chishimba Kambwiri for tribalism. After a few days, baby, bale monabona kadimo ala sambirira mwebo. Nomba, tabomfwa. Chidabale chitafe lift suspension. Ineba isiste na liweberenjebere. Dimbi bati bomfyako what we call African diplomacy. You know yako bati. Umukalamba umukote. Ngalufiania. Te kumwebera pupalia pene. Kumulopola kopa nono. Ero nomba muamubwesha. Ati eluke. Nomba. Okuiluka takwaba. Kulia babata. Bakonkanya po tribalism. Now, if the PF thinks that this is a strategy, you are wrong. The reason is, when you continue having tribalism, the problem is, you are losing votes in all the Zambezi provinces because Abalunda, Abalubale, Abachokwe, Bagaonde, Abalozi, Gamwaya beva ati tamulefua ya Batonga. This is what is happening, particularly when Mubemba. Ngawaya mukubeba ati yo tatulefua yo Mutonga. They will be thinking, so Nombakanshi, we Lundas are next, we Ruvales are next, we Lozis are next. You see that? So then, what is happening is, you are decampaigning your party in Zambezi provinces. But you don't even need na campaigning is a play. Ama videos ayo bakambwiri na GBM bareranda. And that virtual tribal rally that they had. And you've decampaigned your party. Even people that would have thought rimbi tuesheko lungu tuesheko northwestern okubaka komabadi naba shimpundu helicopter. They won't, because the question that they're asking them is, are you in support of what Shimba Kambwiri is saying? That's it. What are they going to say? Kamuipusheni kakoma. Mumuipushe rero. Mutumineni foni kakoma. Mutumineni foni malanji. Mumuipushe. At is Shimba Kambwiri helping your campaign in Northwestern Province? They will tell you, no. No. The reason is immediately Shimba Kambwiri stands and says that we are going to give this leadership. Immediately, that's a coded message. Here is a Bemba guy who is saying this thing against Tongas is also, we are going to be next. Even when you go back and try to clean up, you can't clean up because message has already gone. What should the PF do? The PF should dissociate itself from Kambwiri's tribal politics. Simple. So if the Zambezi provinces if you are chitika, the main battle will be in urban areas. What is happening is namumona umudiro bareko shabana lumango. Ushikajita mulemona nabakalaba. So that is enough. So now you begin competing. Tuwaesha ba PF pafula. Negeni tuweshe kofio yuwi no mtonga kanshi na kwateke ko. Bantu mwachira mo okumu bepesha fyonse niena. Even KCM today ati niena. Kanshi if ngamwachira mo kubepesha sana omuntu kanshi na tuweshe ko. Na kwateke ko. This is the dilemma that the Patriotic Front faces. It's too late now to disown Kambwiri. It's too late now to disown GBM. It's too late to disown the tribal campaign. So you're going to continue with it. And with it, and each passing day, you're planting seeds of division in our united country. Yesterday, we were saying that but in his stomach, from the Bemba Nkonkos. I'm with you. With this tribalism that he's saying. And the tribalism here, too much prejudices to apalopua. At upe komulamba, yo, we go pomulamba. At upe komulala, to ama uncles na aunties, but the parish. Very insignificant things. We've all been there. Our intertribally. Mama, those are part of our society. There are little prejudices. Nangumukoa, for evena luapola. If what to be bena luo, erobata tavena niendua. Najimbi mikoweko shaba, avena ngulube. They are the ruling clan, I think, of the wishes. So kulaba, some prejudices about clans. They are part and parcel of life at all. Vayavena ngulube wike katako. Atavena ngulube babi. But those are usual prejudices. No, what Shimbagambwidi is saying is elevating all those little cultural prejudices to the national stage by categorically saying Okwebat Ababantu. And when he says Ababantu, he's not referring to Hakainde as a person, he's referring to a tribe. That is unacceptable. And all of the people in Zambia are saying no to such rhetoric. It's the people of Zambia that are saying no to it. So you see the kind of dilemma that the Patriotic Front is facing. That is the dilemma. And that is the confusion. So what can we say about the virtual rally? It was a virtual tribal rally. Completely tribal. It's very sad. And it was broadcast across the country. It's very sad. Okay. Now, we understand that, of course, they're saying that it's HH now who privatized KCM. That is a lie. Mweba shadiko. Mdondolole, nishtayapwa. The privatization program, according to Agashamba Tombiku Stalewanika, program, the privatization program was not Chiluba's program. It was under Kaunda. Actually, one of the conditions that Abena Awasungu, IMF and World Bank gave Abena Kaunda in order to help them out of the economic doldrums of the 1980s was privatization. So it's Kaunda's program to privatize. Of course, there were arguments about how to do it. Some within the MMD wanted radical privatization. Like Guy Scott in his book, he says that he was not radical though. He thought that we did not move quick enough to privatize. Right? Guy Scott's book says that Chiluba was actually a very cautious privatizer. He was not an ambitious privatizer. So there was a lot of several factors within the MMD story itself. How quickly should we privatize? How deeply should we do it? And what can we do? Guy Scott and company, they wanted quick one and deep one. And when Chiluba realized that they were a little bit cautious until, of course, they needed to privatize. And the reason why they needed to privatize was because government is inefficient to run business. Like Walungu, but all the debts in Zambia, they should be run by the government. You see how messed up that is? Instead of government running the country, they'll now be involved in microfinance lending. They'll become a Shylock. And when government becomes a Shylock, you know what? It lends to people that believe in its party. And when the government lends to the people that believes in its party, they are not going to repay. The country will sink deeper into confusion. That's exactly what they want to do. It was the MMD that privatized. The primary leaders of the privatization process were the president, Chiluba, the vice president, Mianda, and senior ministers like Mr. Michael Sada and Ronald Penza. All these were the senior policy makers of the privatization program. Of course, during the privatization program, that's when arose what I call a cadre of professionals, professional advisors. valuators, lawyers, even lawyers, because prior to 1980, lawyers were extremely broke. Lawyers were broke. There was no money during the Second Republic. Where would you make money from as a lawyer in the Second Republic? So they made a little bit of money during the privatization because what happened was IMF and World Bank insisted on professional valuers, accountants, qualified lawyers, qualified economists, qualified professionals, qualified companies that would give value, place value on these assets to sell them for the good of our country. They did, but the primary architects of the privatization program, simple common sense, it was the political leaders of our country, including Madame Nawakwi. Mwalaba, Chiluba, Sata, Nawakwi, Penza, those were the principal architects of the privatization program. Kriston Tembo, some of them are here, some of them are dead. Balifua. No, you will know where to read paper, every later, Balifua. But those are the principal architects of the privatization program. There was a Zambia Privatization Agency, which was led by Valentine Chitalu, a 36-year-old University of Zambia graduate. 36-year-old. He was the one who was the chair, the chief executive of the Zambia Privatization Agency, which carried out through the years. Among the professionals that were consulted during the privatization program are lawyers and accountants. One of the senior lawyers at that time was Mr. Edgar Chagwalungu, who was given the task to play a role in several privatization of Zambian assets as a lawyer, as a professional. He earned a little bit out of what he did, and he continued practicing law. So did other lawyers. So did other accountants, like Mr. Aka and Hichilema. He was just a new graduate in economy. And then during the privatization program, they were looking for very bright people. Valuation. So he participated, just like Edgar Lungu participated. And then a little bit of money. After bapanga kanono, bayashte ngombe. Nomba ba Edgar Lungu after bapanga kanono. Baria mukupulila. So now we are facing this situation here, but they go back to the privatization program and they want to start a privatization inquiry. Yeah. Okay. Because in their mind, they are barefua yo wakubebesha. Kamushikule ni chilo bamukamuipushe. Uko chiloko bati mule tupange fyonko. Kashikule ni parapeni mwashika kaunda berera. Muka yeshikula. Uko chila mule tupange chongo. Bantu, ewa ashitishe, ewa achitire privatize. Necho achitire privatize, kwafu ilishiye chalo. Bantu, if we continued under the Kaunda policies, ngawafya sana. Privatization was Kaunda's program with IMF and World Bank. If you chirubako nkenyepo. So imwenomba balungu muituletere mpepo. Ukutuletere mpepo. You know what I mean? At a very big scandal over privatization. There is no scandal as far as privatization is concerned. Forget it. Zambia recovered very well post-privatization. Even our GDP shot up. Enkongole abasungu batwerera abasungu Jubilee campaign of the year 2000. 7 billion of Zambian debt wiped out, forgiven. Takwalina debt swap if umulelanda at debt swap. Completely eradicated. $7 billion. Avena mwana wasa na rupia banda wakwe. They continued building upon those successes. Even export to tuma small businesses Muzambia tuamba kokula chita tuamba kupuputuluka wino. Export with South Africa, agriculture, fiambo kumonika ko a little bit better indications. Nama projections for civil servants yambo kula monika positive. Naka ability kako batama civil servants kumba noku kongola kuti ba kongola kwa kanono. It all started like that. Until 2011, you know, the cartels were good. 2011, 2012, 2013. 2014, 2015, ifintu fyamba okudumbwira due to overborrowing and lack of fiscal discipline. This is not complicated. Overborrowing and lack of fiscal discipline. This is what has led us here. Number, you know what they want to do? To go back to privatization. Thinking that vakasanga some skeletons if yakwa hichilema. There is no skeleton if yakwa hichilema. Because if there was even a single skeleton pali hichilema, shitanga kale mwaipaya. Taringa mwadipaya kale. Nicho tapadi. Number mwambo kubepaika ifintu. Efyo ndandira nebwatu uyu hichilemo yuwaka ere bantu ngajakutirana ngufye umutende fye ngalipo shapo fyo omuntu umutende ati nefumu eri lyakwe nango atonia ati ilifu hichilema atonia kofi yama atonia ati nelifumo lyakwe ni shimpundu mwamuvepesha. So number, mulefu okupepa abantu kwana kali mu privatization pali any issue. There is no issue. Bantu ro yakwa ichilema na ro yenu balungu fimo fine. You were both appraisers. Were you appraisers katuishi? And it was a very professional job that you did. Valued our company. Some of them were garbage. There was no value in some of those companies. Narishwa tulafuayoku yumfwa sana kwana kalimo there was some value. We had assets. Those were not assets, for goodness sake. So you added value, and then the economy started recovering until now. Now a government-run Kaloba program. Government-run Kaloba program. Everything now, IDC is involved in everything. And you know what you're doing? You are squeezing out the small players. Quite all right, Bayport is a predatory. It's okay. Because the Mitawach understand we know dynamics. So they came on big from the civil servants. It's true, you might need to take some rational. Again, it's rational. Ubukali is not a strategy. React. That's not the solution. You need the steady leadership to resolve these problems like Bayport. Number, you are saying that the government is then now going to become a microfinance lender. You know what will happen to Bayport and several other innovative financial institutions? They're going to be squeezed out. Once you squeeze them out, you know what happens? The bigger the burden on the government. And where in a country the government is supposed to provide everything, you are leading to more economic problems. Alaboafia. Alaboafia. I think we must end here. Bantu, I think what else are we going to say? If you continue, I'll come back and answer. So first natula for about an hour. Fiakwana. Oshumfo pafinono na bafingi pene takomfwe. And thank you to those that are partnering with our program. Thank you to those that are sending us stars. Thank you to those that are sharing this feed. We appreciate you and keep on with the good work. Send us stars, partner with our program, and we'll continue providing checks and balances to this government and to everything. And we are not going to stop. We'll continue, right? And of course, General is going to come back this week, and then we are going to continue with what we do very well. God bless you, and God bless our country. Thank you.